Welcome to Marketing Monday. I'm Paula Williams with ABCI, and today we're answering a listener question like we always do. And if you're joining us for this, if you want to give us a thumbs up, let us know you're there, or leave a comment or ask a question anytime during the presentation or afterwards. That's fine too. So, looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this as well. So, this week we have a question from Simon, who sent us an email, and Simon says, our repair station has a new location that provides service to piston aircraft, which is a whole new audience for us. The main part of our business has always been business jets. We have built a new website to advertise this new service and are wondering how to get started getting traffic to this new site. Should we use AdWords or banner ads to start getting traffic? So first of all, Simon, I think it's a great idea to build a new website when you have a completely different audience for a product or service. It is not as expensive as it used to be to build websites, so rather than having one monster website and expecting your customers to kind of go through it and figure out what they want, when you have something that is for a completely different audience than you've served before, it's a really good idea, and you've seen a lot of companies that will have things like microsites or subsites or landing pages or other things to kind of help those users, that new audience, have a good experience instead of making them go through the same process and hunt and peck through your site for what they want. So first of all, congratulations on a really good decision to build a microsite or a separate site for your new audience. I think that's a good idea. But to answer your question, how do I build traffic to this new website, given that you're kind of starting from scratch, right? These are customers that you may not have served before, although there may be some overlap between your old site and your new site. There may be some folks that fly business jets during the week, that fly Moonies on weekends, or Cirrus or Diamonds or other kinds of things. So, there may be a little bit of overlap, and it doesn't hurt to put an ad on your old site for your new site. Let them know we have this new location, we have these new services. If you have a Moonie or a Diamond or whatever that needs service, we'd be happy to take care of you in our new location. That does two things. Number one, it helps build your new audience from your old one. Secondly, it also sets up a pretty nice backlink, which is really important for the search engines. So, assuming that you have an older and a more established older site, then it does a really good thing when you connect that to your new site. So you're starting off by kind of seeding that with your old site and borrowing some credibility from that old site. Okay, so the first thing I'd like you to do is to request a site audit of your new site to make sure that it's set up properly. We've got some software that will go through it and make sure that it's being indexed correctly and that there's no big errors on it. A lot of times when people use, especially some of the free site builders and things like that, they don't always get set up exactly perfectly, and sometimes they prevent Google from indexing certain sections of the site because of an error or something that didn't get set up right, and it's just a matter of getting those boxes checked correctly and things like that. So request a free site audit from us, and you can find that on our site at aviationbusinessconsultants.com/free SEO audit, and I'll put a link to that in the comments after this session. So thing number one, get the site audited, make sure that there's no big errors, okay? Thing number two is those backlinks, and we already talked about maybe putting an ad from your old site to your new one. Other places that you may want to either buy ads or get backlinks from would be, some of the directories. 30,000 feet is a great one. Max Flight runs that. It's a great project that has some great listings for aviation companies. The aviation magazines are all great backlinks to have, so if you can either get quoted in those or submit a press release or do something to cause them to link to your site, that's always a great way to build credibility. You may want to buy an ad on the Aviation Service Directory. If you're one of our members, then of course you get those ads for free. If you're not, then you can buy just an ad. That's no problem. You can get those from their aviationservicedirectory.com. You can be a guest on a podcast. If you can find a podcast that's on your topic, that's always great to get those backlinks from a popular podcast. You can write a guest article on someone's blog. If you've got a topic on, piston aircraft maintenance, maybe something that maybe not very many people know, a common error that people make, 3 things you should know before you get your aircraft set up for summer, other kinds of things that might be useful for people that you can have published on other blogs. And then the last thing is to find out what keywords you want to use. You don't want to just optimize for your business name, because not everybody's going to know your business name, especially if you're in a new area that maybe you haven't been advertising for and you're not well known for piston aircraft service. So you want to make sure that those are local keywords as well, for the airports and the landmarks in your area. So make sure that, if someone's looking for piston aircraft service near your area, that you're listing those keywords correctly. And then you also want to write a lot of content, like those articles that we had talked about. And we had Laura Hanley on our podcast this week. We just published that this morning, where she talked about content that converts. So that's a great place to start, looking for those recurring content items and content assets and other things that you can build around piston aircraft maintenance. So have a look at that podcast. You'll probably get some really good ideas from that. All right. So the main thing, though, that I want you to be careful of is, you can't just buy your way out of this problem. You can't just buy traffic from Google AdWords and expect that to be a great long-term solution. It's much too expensive to do as a regular business practice. We love Google AdWords for things like getting people into an event or something where you've got a short timeline, but you can't rely on those quick fixes. So don't just dabble in Google AdWords. It's a really great way to go really broke really fast, especially if your site is not up to snuff and it doesn't have all the elements that it needs to function well and to perform well on Google, because they base those on a quality score, right? So if your site doesn't have good SEO to start with, you're going to end up paying more for those Google AdWords. So that is the show for today. That's our question for today. And make sure you ask a question in the comments. You can send it to me by email. If you want to be anonymous, that's perfectly fine too. But we will send you a book, our social media guide for aviation professionals, for asking a question if we use it on the Facebook Live next week or any other week after that. So join us every Monday at 1 o'clock for Marketing Monday. Have a great week.